Greetings, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Arena Frontier here on Gateway Sports. Been 2 weeks, and we already have a team officially announced after rumors and posts and stuff in the AF1. We finally have where formerly the Massachusetts Pirates are going to in the IFL. We also got some signings in both the IFL and AF1. Then we also have a team that announced they're going dormant or dormant slash move, if you will, also in the AF1. And then we also have some other things too. So I guess I should start first of the team that has gone dormant in the AF1. I've been speaking about rumors of possibly what the Billings Outlaws are going to do. That either they might be a move, for one thing, there was something that we saw, there was something for sale that happened there, and they officially announced it on their Facebook in a short post that's, I don't know, the messaging to me doesn't seem like a good thing in my opinion. Outlaws go dormant for the 2026 season. The Arena Bowl 23 champion Outlaws Arena football team will be exiting the Billings market and taking the 2025 season off to find our future home. Due to an increase in costs, the lack of municipal government or state government support, and the simple fact that even with $10 tickets in Billings, we couldn't fill the TDS Fiber Field for nationally televised games. Yeesh. It is apparent that the Outlaws being in Billings isn't longer feasible for the team. We wish the local community all the best. If a local owner or ownership group is interested in keeping the Outlaws in Billings, please contact the selling agent Wayne Wilcox at Central 21 at 406-697-9800. Thank you for the memories, Billings. Go Outlaws. That happened on Veterans Day last week. Uh, yeah, would have happened after if I did a show on Veterans Day, so yeesh. I'm not gonna admit here, the messaging is quite similar to what the Rams did out of St. Louis, but just a little more blatant, well, a little bit less blatant in my opinion. If everyone knows that story, especially in St. Louis with the whole burning the bridge, if you will, with Stan Kroenke right before, a few days before the vote win day, before they moved to LA back in 2016. Boy, uh, yeah, for this to happen and the way it is, and I've already said with the owner stuff, and strangely, the what would be the current limbo owner of the Billings Outlaws. Like after this happened, then the owner seemed to be in Arizona. Everyone seems like they want to go to Arizona. Not a bad thing. It's just that Arizona already has so many arena teams already that markets become saturated in that state. And like AF1 wanted to put a team there last year this year with the Arizona Bandits, but that fell through. Then, of course, with the Idaho Horsemen, the NAL saying they're going dormant, and when on the NAL shop, there was a little thing saying Arizona Horsemen on there. Of course, they're dormant, so their team tried to go into Arizona. Then Arizona, they have the Rattlers, the Tuscan Sugar Skulls, and also the Northern Arizona Wranglers. So it's going to get saturated really quickly, though it's just that are we like it's like there's other places in my opinion, like I know it's hard to put a team in, like, well, we're going to mention this soon because a team has been announced in California, which is shocking to me with all the stuff going on, but I don't know, they seem to have like the right stuff going on there. So like I said, with the A1, you got one team leaves the billing out, well, not leave, they go dormant. So let me get that out here. And then you got the new team that I have been saying for the last few weeks, that people in our arena group that I'm in that have been saying, because their teams like social media on Facebook like created out of nowhere, and we was kind of wondering, are they actually in the AF1, because nothing has been officially announced. And one thing, a little bit of criticism for the AF1, because I know Zach Kelman has mentioned it, because he's been posting the link for the transactions for the league while the league page has not. Like, I don't know why they're not doing that, showing what the signings are going on here. And there was a lot of signings here that will go here in a little while, plus some interesting stuff with that is along with the along with the IFL, kind of a strange thing too. So okay, so now we the first thing that showed up was the press conference announcement of of now the official team in the AF1 in the West, which is the Oceanside Bombers. Oceanside, California, November 7th. Oceanside Bombers, a professional arena league team, will host a press conference to announce the expansion team from the city of Oceanside, California, that will play in the Arena Football 1 League. The press conference will provide essential details on this significant development and implications for the community. Key representatives from the organization, including Vernon Patel, President Managing Partner Felix Berry, Executive Vice President Partner Joshua Tiller, Executive Vice President Partner Greg Anderson, Assistant General Manager and Partner, and George Quallis, Assistant General Manager and Partner, will be available to comment to answer questions. There's some animated details. So that was about. And then there's a quote from Greg Anderson. Oceanside Bombers emphasize community integration and collaboration with the Oceanside Chamber. Main Street, Oceanside. Visit Oceanside Parks and Recreation, Marine Corps Base, Camp Pendleton. And I already mentioned, like, they had a representative that is a former NFL player. I can't remember his name, that I mentioned 2 weeks ago. And he's already become like an ambassador for them. And that's actually a good thing for when it comes to this. So let me find, where is that other article I found? There we go. Yeah, this was on HowieHansen.com. AF1 ads Oceanside Bombers. This was after the the press conference, one of the few I only could find. The Arena Football 1 League is expanding to Southern California with the Oceanside Bombers beginning play in spring 2026. League Oceanside's communities announced a new expansion team Wednesday at a press conference at Front Wave Arena, marking a milestone moment for the coastal city. So Front Wave Arena is when they're going to play it. This is a proud day for Oceanside, said Mayor Esther C. Sanchez, who joined speakers Vanessa Lee of the Oceanside Chamber of Commerce, Jerry Kirk, CEO of Arena Football 1, and Jeff Fisher, the league's commissioner and former Tennessee Titans head coach, in making the announcement. Once a quiet beach stop for Marines from nearby Camp Pendleton, Oceanside has grown into a lively coastal city, blends surf town character with steady urban revival. Palm-lined streets lead to cafes, breweries, and the landmark wooden pier that stretches into Pacific. Downtown redevelopment has paired new hotels and art spaces with older storefronts, giving the area a refreshed but familiar look. Anchored by the historic Mission St. Louis Ray, the city about 170,000 residents, that's actually quite big, keeps its working class roots even as tourism and redevelopment expand. Families, certain members, and artists mix easily in a community that values authenticity over polish. The Bombers are owned and operated by a local partnership group led by Vernon Patel, president and managing partner, along with Felix Berry. Yeah, that's who it is. Felix Berry, that's who it was. Joshua Teller, Greg Anderson, and George Qualls. And that is it for the Oceanside Bombers. So now excuse me. Now there's supposed to be at least 2 more teams announced, because as of right now, the only one that has not announced a schedule yet for this upcoming season has been the AF1. And then I'll put the AIF in there because they're about 50%, because they still have yet to release their South schedule. They did their North schedule. The South one has yet to be announced. The NAL has announced the schedule. And then just last week, both the IFL and the AAL, the American Arena League, coming back, has announced their schedules. And now that I mentioned, let me go through there for just a minute. So, oh, great. Got a little bit of a delay here, but let's start with the AAL here, because there's only going to be 4 main teams, but here's something very interesting about their schedule. So I'll let that load up. So, just to reiterate how the beginning of the 2026 Arena Series go. First, the end of January, the AIF is going to play. Then, the National Relay League is going to be playing in near mid to end February. The plan so far, the IFL and the AF1 to start in March. Then now this year, the AAL, they're going to start in mid-April, starting like on April, the week of April 16th and 18th. And it's kind of interesting here because unfortunately wasn't unable to put the schedule picture here, but just describe like the 4 teams, the Wheeling Myers, the Jersey Bearcats, the Columbus Lions, and the Mississippi Wolfpack, because they face each other. But the one thing that they're doing, because we have to remember with the AAL, there's the minor league affiliate with them, their minor league, the AAL2. And so what they're doing is they're going to have face some of those teams too, in a way. Then, of course, they're probably going to have like playoffs all for the low seed, the lowest seed fade the top seed, the second lowest fade the second seed, that whole 14 playoff format that's been done to death. So, and then of course, when it comes to this league, there's some type of chance that the AAL2 teams will jump up and join the main AAL in the future, which has happened a few times with this league's history. So that's for the 2026 one there. Then, of course, again, the Arena League, they start in also late in April or like May. Like they start in May, though, as of right now, because they've announced Memphis, but they're supposed to be announcing at least 2 to 3 more teams for the 2026 season. Haven't heard much about that so far, so there you go with that. So let me get the IFL schedule here just to describe it here. Technology, slow day. All right. So one thing about the Indoor Football League too is that they still really haven't announced like what's to do with how the network is going to go for next year. So okay, so what we know, of course, with the IFL, which in a way I kind of call them the Canadian Football League version of Arena Football because of how long their schedule is. They are 20 weeks regular schedule. They play from March and go all the way into July, August, depending on that. And they're scheduling like they have, as of right now, like they still the same as last year, 14 teams. And their schedule is like a little funky in a way because first week they have only 2 games on March 14th and 15th. Then the following they have 4. Then it goes like 7-7, then back to 4-4, 7-7. Sometimes 6. Sometimes 5, then 3. Like it's all over the place, but at most the average is 7 games because of the bye weeks. It's just how it is structured right now. Then like on week 20 they all play, and it's kind of interesting, like the final 4 weeks of the IFL season. Like on week 17 there's only 3 games, then it's all 7, then it's 5, then it's 6. So it's kind of like there's some inconsistency, but then there's consistency, then back to inconsistency. Just how the scheduling of the arena goes, as it seems. And then, like I said, they have yet to announce what's going on with the IFL network. And then also, will we hear anything more about 2027? Because remember, the Bay Area Panthers have gone dormant. And just seeing like what's going to happen to that one, because now the AF1 has gained a California team, and IFL only has 1 California team now. Though, the one thing now is, when it comes to the Indoor Football League, is that now it has been confirmed, and it's what we have heard throughout the last few weeks when it comes to this franchise, is that the Massachusetts Pirates are now the Orlando Pirates. And here we go with the press release, and this was announced just yesterday. The Indoor Football League today announced that the Massachusetts Pirates organization has officially relocated to Orlando, Florida, where it will compete as the Orlando Pirates beginning with the 2026 season. The franchise will host games at the Kia Center in downtown Orlando, making an exciting new era for one of the league's most successful and represent organization. The move, formally announced by the Pirates Orchard, reflects a strategic decision to align the team with one of the nation's most vibrant and fast-growing sports markets, with a commitment to community engagement, local partnerships, and an exciting game day atmosphere. The Orlando Pirates will bring the IFL football to Central Florida for the first time. And just to stop here and pause here, because now Orlando is going to be kind of interesting when it comes to alternative football. And I say that because you got the Massachusetts Pirates, which is a team that moved to a market. Then you got the new Orlando Storm team for the UFL. That's also going to be playing there, and they're going to be playing at the MLS stadium there. So now that's going to be kind of interesting. Now you go from a market with no football teams now to two, not to mention that Orlando, not this season, but next NFL season, the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to temporarily play there for a season while the stadium in Jacksonville is being renovated. So it's an interesting time for football in the Orlando area within the next 2 years. So, and let me continue with here we go. This relocation represents both growth and opportunity for the Pirates organization, for the Indoor Football League, and for the passionate sports community of Orlando, said IFL Commissioner Todd Taylor. The Adam family has invested heavily in building a strong, recognizable brand with the Pirates. We're excited to see them move into a market that truly reflects their vision and energy. I don't know how I feel about that quote. We're excited to see them move into a market that truly reflects their vision and energy. So the last 7 years of being in Massachusetts didn't. That's not, to me, that's not really a good thing to say by the commissioner, because, like, does the IFL want to try to come back into the Northeast? Because honestly, with that quote there that that he said, I'm not too sure if anyone in Massachusetts or nearby Massachusetts might like that, as they said. So to me, that is a bad way to say that there. Yeah, so all right, continuing. Founded in 2017 by Yoad Yadam, the Pirates quickly established themselves as one of the indoor football's premier programs. The franchise captured the 2021 IFL National Championship, appeared in multiple conference title games, and consistently maintained one of the league's most competitive rosters and fan experiences. The team's move to Florida builds on that success while opening doors to new fans, partners, and opportunities for growth. The Orlando Pirates continue to be led by Young Yadam, the founder, CEO, and general manager, and Hassan Yadam, co-owner. Well, they're both brothers. With veteran coach Rob Keefe named as head coach. He's known in Orlando, so that's a good choice. Keefe, a familiar name in Orlando football history, previously guided the Orlando Predators to 3 consecutive playoff appearances and 2 division titles from 2014 to 2016. The IFL is built on forward momentum, and this move embodies that spirit. Tyron added, we look forward to seeing the Pirates compete in front of an energized Orlando crowd as the league continues to expand its national footprint. The Pirates' relocation to Orlando continues the IFL's ongoing commitment to thoughtful growth and stability. The league currently features 14-member franchise, like I said, blah, 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 blah. So some people might be wondering, well, what about the Orlando Predators? Because remember, before this season, they were supposed to be up for sale, and Cheney, of course, I'm hoping to have Zach Kilman back on soon to discuss this, because I will have to say that the Orlando Predators brand is officially dead now, because they're playing in the Kia Center where Predators used to play, and also complained of how expensive it was. And also, I did see season tickets being on the advertising. And interesting, it's the way it's not like straight like an even dollar amount. It's like 40.7, so $40.70. Seems kind of good there. Yeah, Cheney, like, because if you guys remember the story, like, he was part of the AF1, like, he was part of their committees and stuff, and then right before the season just blew it up, said he's selling the team, and there was, like, some, uh, thing in the contract that if they're selling the team that they can't play the nearest season. So that happened, and supposedly I want to get some other people some confirmation, but what I heard is that they wanted to try to go to the IFL, but that just fell through. So basically, Cheney did all the sacrificing with no payoff. That's what it seems to me, and that is really disappointing because of that brand that the Orlando Predators that has started back in the old original AF1, and now it's Florida Ether, or the Predators brand could come back, but it won't be Orlando. It'll be somewhere else if someone ever buys that brand, or heck, Tampa is still looking for an arena team for that's probably the next spot in Florida. I don't think Miami will. Miami's. I don't know. To me, Miami doesn't seem like a good arena football town, at least to me. But we'll have to see. So, do all that fuss and all that sabotage with no payoff. That is just, to me, that just mind-boggling on how that went there. So it's interesting how the arena football world works. All right, let's go with some signings here. Then there was something that the National Arena League kind of announced with some type of program that I'll end with this evening. Okay, AF1. We'll start with the newest team, the Oceanside Bombers. So far, they have done only one signing, and so far, it's their quarterback and it's former San Diego Strike Force quarterback Rudy Johnson. And it's also kind of interesting. Oceanside and San Diego are not that far from each other. And of course, getting this guy here kind of helps the local area and all that stuff. And he's a pretty good quarterback. So just see how that goes with different leagues, because it's not like in Arizona with the IFL. You got the Northern Arizona Wranglers, the Arizona Rattlers, and then of course the excuse me, the Tuscan Sugar Skulls. So it's kind of interesting. So first signing for the Oceanside Bombers, former Strike Force QB Rudy Johnson, and then, like I said before, the AF1 is supposed to announce about two more teams. At least that's the rumor. So that's probably not going to happen at least till like December, because I doubt there's going to be any type of announcements during the week of Thanksgiving. That's just not how it usually goes. But okay, going to AF1 stage, and kind of a mix here, because we got, like, for example, for the Washington Wolfpack, they're getting better, and I like that because I'm hoping because I want them to be the most improved team within the league compared to because the last 2 years, yikes. All right, first things first, they signed fullback Bernard McCall from Livingstone College. Then, interesting, they suspend two players. They suspend quarterback Javier Miguel from East Texas A&M and offensive lineman Falugo Russell from Lincoln University. Then they signed a quarterback we actually already know that has played in the arena football world, quarterback Vincent Espinoza. So that's good. That's honestly an upgrade from whatever they had the last few years. Then they had actually a player retire, Jonathan Navarro from Central Washington. So they had two signings, two suspensions, and then one player retired. So, like I said, it's a strange one, and when we get to the IFL, it even gets more stranger. All right, the Michigan Arsenal, what now was the newest team, or now the second newest team. They have started building up their roster. Wide receiver Daniel Williams from Jackson State, offensive line Kyle Lester from Buffalo College. Oh no, Butt College. I'm sorry, but with two T's. So, wide receiver Jarius Grissom from Saginaw College / Eastern Michigan University. Linebacker Brian Horn from the Citadel. Wide receiver Draven Mervin from Kansas Wesleyan University. Wide receiver Cohen Russell from Slippery Rock University. Wide receiver Kenny Brewer from Central Michigan. Yeah, there you go. Like, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, because remember Michigan, even though they got Michigan State, They got also all those Michigan school universities from the MAC, which are very, very good blue collar players. They've always been the MAC. To me, is still one of the more underestimated conferences outside of the big of the big conferences when it comes to college football. Uh, and then, of course, wide receiver Vance Bennett from Wiener University. Ha ha ha! Interesting there. Interesting, funny name. Then you got the Baymont Renegades, the defending the for not the even though they are the former NAL champions, they're down the AF1 because they won the National Arena League Championship last year. Defensive back Avaris Adley, Indiana State. Offensive lineman CJ Murrow, Northeastern State. Defensive lineman Sidney Jones, Southern Connecticut State. Wide receiver Jaden Barrow, Tyler Junior College. Yeah, like this is strictly a junior college player. Defensive back Devin Kirkwood, UCLA. Wide receiver Taquan Dudley Carson, Newman University. Offensive lineman Mike Brown, West Virginia. Offensive lineman Kendra James, Alabama. There's that Alabama player. Defensive back Cameron Pruitt from Memphis, University of Memphis. Defensive back Jalen Marshall, the Ohio State University. And the Kentucky Barrels also signed someone that I know pretty well in the that's played not only in the arena football world but also in the played for the St. Louis Battlehawks back in the 2020 season and scored that kickoff return reverse Joel Powell. Boy, that was loud. So glad to see him still playing in the arena football world. Though I wouldn't be surprised if he does come back to a UFL team. Oregon, Thaddeus Tolliver, Ridgewater College. Then Oregon they trade for LaDaniel McAllister, Kentucky State, for future considerations. I forgot what team they trade, but future considerations. What could that possibly mean for an arena football world? It's hard to tell because, believe it or not, in hockey and baseball could be different. It's either a player, it's not a draft pick because they can't do that. Then, if anyone has seen Moneyball, one of the options is also in baseball. Just pure hard cash. Defensive back Kevin Walker Jr., University of Central Missouri, school I know pretty well as well. With the Mules there in Central Missouri, in Warrenton. Then here we go. Here's a one that's kind of interesting there. Minnesota released defensive back Aaron Jackson from Texas A&M Kingsville. Released defensive line Lorenzo Hernandez, Western Kentucky. Released linebacker Lavelle Spruce from Toledo, and also released defensive back Clarence Taylor III, La Harbor College. And then released quarterback William Walters, Columbia College. Released defensive back Ponce DeLon, Shepherd College. Signed wide receiver Donovan Johnson, Concordia University. Linebacker Dotori Best from Watergate University. Wide receiver Andre Williams, Dean College. Defensive back Delvin Randall, Temple University. Signed quarterback Caden Walters, University of Sioux Falls. And released Richie Anderson II from Penn State. Albany, then here's something that's kind of interesting. The quarterback Jerome Johnson that they signed from Bowie State is suspended. Defensive lineman Morris Joseph Jr. from Auburn is signed. Nashville, they signed quarterback Caleb Lowe from Hunting Don College. And linebacker defensive line Nashville signed linebacker defensive line Justin Alexander, Incarnate World University. Now the IFL signings. Excuse me. So this one's also a little bit kind of funky too. Because San Diego, they only signed one player, defensive lineman Adam Anderson. Arizona Rattlers signed defensive back Isaiah Huff, offensive lineman Nicholas Ford. They released offensive lineman Barson Mays. Signed offensive lineman Saduma Okoga. Signed defensive back Sirius Fagan. Released running back Howard Russell V. Released defensive back Travis J. Signed defensive back Kalon Kennedy. released defensive back Atoa Joe, re signed wide receiver Corey Reed Jr., then the Jacksonville Sarge signed defensive back Payne Bunkley. Then they trade to Tuscan, Arizona. They trade offensive lineman Corder Brewster to Tuscan for running back Jameis Williams. Then Tuscan released defensive back Gabriel Amagatcatcher. Interesting name. Signed defensive back Aaron Jackson. Signed offensive lineman Michael Todd Jr. Released offensive line Duro Ajayi. And then the San Antonio Gunslingers released offensive line Tyrone Persed, signed kicker Dylan Furter. Trade got from a they got from a trade offensively Desmond Thomas and traded traded Iowa Tyrone Chambers. Then Iowa Barnstormers signed defensive back Troy LaForge, defensive lineman Zach Niveen Kirk, offensive line McLean DeJoye. That's again interesting names. Then Quad City, actually, I'm sorry. The trade Iowa traded got Tyrone Chambers from Quad City, and Quad City got Cody offensive lineman Cody Bullis. Sorry about that. Then they released quarterback Brandon Ringo, former quarterback of the Billings Outlaws. Not that great. Released offensive lineman Aaron Harvey. Resigned offensive lineman Davian Caldwell. Signed defensive lineman Rashawn Williams. The Vegas Nighthawks released, but also put on IR defensive lineman Lee Autry. Then they signed defensive lineman Lorenzo Hernandez. Then they signed a restricted free agent that originally was with the Gunslingers, Clifton Duck, very good player. Don't know how San Antonio let him go. Once again, it said restricted free agent. Then they had a big sign today with re-signed star wide receiver Quentin Randolph. Tulsa then signed that played for the Sugar Skulls last quarterback, wide receiver Jairus Grissom, and now the Oilers have him. Defensive back Tarek Bracy signed with them. Fishers Freight re-signed wide receiver J.T. Stokes. Northern Arizona Wranglers signed wide receiver Igrill Watson. Then Green Bay signed running back Salvatore Marande, defensive lineman Travon Grant, re-signed wide receiver Terrio Carey, release athlete Jazari Peterson, and release running back / wide receiver Jalen Cagle. And Green Bay, talk about with their quarterback and running back now in Arizona. It's going to be interesting what the Blizzard are actually going to look like next year. Crazy. Okay, to close out the show, the National Arena League kind of announced some type of program here called NAL Life Initiative, Shaping Leaders Beyond Football. The National Arena League proudly announced the official launch of NAL Life, a comprehensive community and player development initiative designed to empower athletes, strengthen communities, and prepare players for success beyond the game. The announcement was made not last night, was made on October 28th during the league's official Inside the Walls, marking the beginning of a new era for NAL for both on and off the field. We're not just building better athletes, we're developing complete individuals who can lead and inspire. State Commissioner Brendan Ickard. We want our athletes to win beyond the field, and this is how a modern professional league invests in people. At its core, life, and it's an abbreviation, represents the four guiding pillars that defines the program's mission. First one, leadership, develop the next generation leaders both on and off the field. Inspiration, motivate through example and positive community engagement. Future, prepare athletes for life after football through education and career advancement opportunities. So kind of similar, like a lot of the alternative football. Most of them have tried to do like some educational programs. Stuff I know the USFL did that before they joined the UFL. I think there's some type of program with the UFL that's doing that, if I recall correctly. Uh, NFL does something similar, but It's more based on the individual player than with the organization themselves. The final one, empowerment, equip players, communities to build long-lasting uh, success. As a first member, Steph of this of the NAL has established a strategic partnership with Southern New Hampshire University. Usually they partner with some type of university. Provide players with access to continuing education, degree programs, and life skills training. The collaboration marks a major advancement in ensuring that every athlete has the tools to thrive after their playing career ends. The mission of NAL Life is clear: develop complete athletes, leaders, mentors, and citizens who inspire change, invest in their communities, and build their future beyond football. Through the various programs, educational workshops, and community outreach, NAL Life will develop a long lasting impact across every NAL market, further proving the league's influence extends far beyond the game. And just a reminder, the league itself with the National League League, they're all close together within the kind of the middle of the country. They're kind of looking like either greater than, less than, depending on how you look at it, both this way and a mirror image. So that'll do it for this evening for Arena Frontier on here on Gateway Sports. Like I said, no show next week due to being Thanksgiving week. We'll be back here in December. I plan to have a guest on to discuss what the Arena football world's going on, and also just some observations and more curiosities I have, like going on that me and my guest will talk about, and just another thing too. I just hope because like I say, you want to have it be able to market to Arena football, and I don't know. I'm pretty sure that the owner of the Billings will pretty much burned the bridge when it comes to billing, so they're definitely moving. And then I don't know, that one comment by the commissioner of the IFL, like, are you like, what happens if you need to go back to Massachusetts or anywhere part of the New England province area of the states? Because I don't know, that quote bothered me a little bit. So, like I said, thank you for joining me this evening on Gateway Sports. Be sure to check out all the other programs here. Be sure to subscribe on our YouTube, follow us on Facebook and X, and thank you for joining me this evening. See you all next week.